Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. My name is DJ. We are here to break down a fun week in the world of golf, Little Waste Management Phoenix Open. The LPGA is running around in Florida. Yalimi No gets her first win. We've got some Corn Ferry Tour action. We've got LIV Riyadh. Of course, we've got all kinds of things to get to. Of course, to help me do it, got my guy Soly here. Soly, greetings. Hi, hello.
Annual Super Bowl recording. We're off a little early, and we never wrap up like when we say we're going to, but we might be able to see the first quarter for the first time in a long time.
I think so. And, speaking of which, I mean, what a thrill here as his beloved birds are about to kick off. Junior ball knower Tron Carter in the house is
No,
great to see you.
senior ball knower. Maybe ball knower emeritus at this point. Go Birds! I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all the Eagles fans out there for opening your arms to me. The last couple of days have been absolutely incredible. What a warm, gracious, hospitable group of people. Seriously, they've welcomed me into their clan as one of their own, and I couldn't be happier. I think I'm going to be a lifelong Birds fan after this. My guy
The ball
Sirianni.
knowers, it's so fun because Neil Neil was freaking electric when joining it, and you do ride in your car, and I could totally sense anybody riding their car just wanting to yell out. And he was making giving you examples of stupid poosh takes of just like I'm screaming in my on the plane, like what are you talking about? But that was
Hurts is mid.
it was
Hurts is
fun.
mid.
As a
As always,
passer only, like that's what I wanted to yell about. Like you just are completely discounting his running.
Well,
Maybe we can
yeah,
talk about
he's a quarterback. I mean,
as always, go listen to the Trap Drop podcast, folks. If you want to if you're looking for some non golf action, guys, I'd love to take just a moment here before we get started. Give a quick refresher on Titleist's GT driver lineup, the latest generation of the tour's most played driver brand for 6 seasons and counting. In case you have not heard, the all new GT1 driver is now available for pre-sale and fittings. I know Big Randy's going to be very psyched for the GT1. This is, going to be the best option in the lineup if you're looking for high launch, maybe a little more spin, max stability, all the things the big guy needs. The GT2 model is great for players who don't quite need all the height and spin of GT1, but still want stability, fastball speeds, forgiveness across the face. GT2 is in the bags of Ludwig, JT, Cam Young, a lot of speed in that group. I believe Tron Carter as well,
TC. Yep.
which we might get to in our second ad read, TC, with the stack. I mean, you could get even more speed. Maybe we'll
I'm
see.
scared. I'm too scared to do it.
The GT. Speaking of speedsters, then you got the GT3. This is where I'm living. This is going to be, it's going to lower the spin and flight just a touch, offer a little bit more adjustability to dial things in. Same high speed tech, just a little more compact profile than the GT2. And finally, the GT4 is your low spin model, slightly smaller profile. Really going to help bring down the spin, deliver that penetrating ball flight for the players that need it. Solly, what are you in?
I had to
GT4?
check this because honestly, it had been so long since I played golf. I was like, "What am I? I don't remember what I'm in." It's a GT3 is what I've got.
Ben On is like the only player in the world in the GT4.
I bet you
He's
might
the
be.
only one that's qualified to be in that as the lowest spin players in the world,
Well,
sorry, the highest spin players in the world.
if you don't know what driver you're qualified to be in, I would recommend go and get fit. It's a very fun process. Take some of the decision making out of your own hands. Don't just close your eyes and pick one. Go get fit for something and visit Titleist.com to learn more and find a fitting near you. Guys, Thomas Detry is your winner at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. I mentioned this off the top, but Yalimi No gets her first win on the LPGA down in Bradenton, Florida. Kyle Westmoreland, Cody's guy, wins in Bogota. Great week down on the Corn Ferry Tour. Adrian Maronk and Legion 13 both go wire to wire at LIV Riyadh under the lights. Can't wait to talk about that. And TC Haotong Lee is officially bucking his head in Qatar. We've got all kinds of
I'm just
things to
getting
talk
word
about.
across the wire that Thomas Detry just pulled an Elkington, taking the lead into the final round and shooting the low round of the day with a birdie there on the 18th. Is
Wow.
birdied 16, 17, 18.
And
Birdied
birding
16,
18.
17, 18 to
Yeah.
shoot
Yeah.
65, had the low round of the day. We're just recording this as this is wrapping up as two kids are running onto the green. It's wonderful scene.
Which is cool because I guess maybe we start there. A guy that, if he was kind of known for anything, it was known for maybe being a little bit of a gas leaker and when he got into some of these important final rounds, and you could see it with like the shot. I think the shot on 14, shot on 15. Like there were a couple moments where it was like, ooh, I don't know. Daniel Berger's fired at flag sticks. This guy might be doing his normal thing. And then the shot on 16 just absolutely sealed the day, hits it to about a foot and a half. Birdie's the most famous hole at TVC Scottsdale. And then, yeah, as you said, polishes it off with birdies at 17 and 18 as well. So,
65 on the weekend.
I mean, there it is. It would have been a Mackenzie Hughes or no, was that
Of course it
66,
was.
66?
That was
To
66,
not win.
66, but that was
So
on
you
a
can't win.
yeah, you can't win, and I think that was on a par 70. Maybe this is on a par 71.
Gotcha.
So who knows? Maybe this is a Thomas Detry.
Well, Solly, I'll throw it to you first. When I say Thomas Detry, what was in your mind before today? What's in your mind now? Are those two things
It was
any
very
different?
much I don't even think about you at all, but prior to this week, honestly, he's been around for a long time, has not really done much that it's especially noteworthy except just play decent professional golf, solid professional golf. And the play on Saturday was what had me. It was my fan. I mean, he had a 5-shot lead going into today, but it was under minus 200 to win. I think it had to do with
You kinda
Giroud, I was like,
draft him,
this is the
huh?
pick. Like he's gonna win minus 175 to win. It was just the way he did it Saturday about how easy everything looked, and kind of the formula that he was using. And he just at no point did he got down to a 3-shot lead today, and at no point did it feel like he was going to give that one away. For me personally, I just did not think he was going to, just because he was, keeping it between the mayo and mustard. Just looked like he knew how to play that golf course, and it was wildly impressive. This is the time of with the Sunday winner where you say, how has this guy not won more often? Because the guy just blew the field away and won by 7. Like, I don't know if we've fully said that part out loud yet. He won by 7.
TC, what about you?
Yeah, I think they gotta update his picture on Wikipedia. It's from the 2009 KLM Open, which I believe was 16 years ago. He was 16 years old. Add from what Sally said, like he made every putt that he had to make, both Saturday and Sunday. It seemed like he putted well. He's definitely had a tendency in the past to kind of bottle things a little bit, and he didn't do that at all today. It could be, maybe it's kind of like a big tone situation, right? He's just kind of vanquishing his fears. Although, Solly would just say, "Hey, that's just law of averages," and kind of the universe
We're
normalizing
like 2
things and
sentences away
math.
from why don't they just sim the tournaments, right?
I
No,
I
no.
I will say, thanks to our friends at Data Golf, he has not had the big tone bad luck. He has just had bad play, right? He
Thank you.
is,
I
yeah,
didn't want to
in
say
his,
it.
Data Golf has their, expected play in final rounds, and so they had a chart that they tweeted out, like, basically when he's been in the top 5 going into final rounds, I forget how many different instances that was, but he was basically minus 1.1 strokes gained based against his expected play. So he just a bottler, TC, you called it.
Yeah,
But
I
it
think the
absolutely
crazy
ran
part.
through the tape this week.
I think the crazy part is like he's been on the DP World Tour for forever. It seems like, and he's been playing PGA Tour, I think, the last 3 years mainly, but, never there either. Like,
Yeah, one
he
challenge tour win to his
he
name, that's
lost in
it.
2021 to, Matt Fitzpatrick, I believe, or was that Matt Fitzpatrick or Minwoo Lee, in the Scottish Open in 2021. But otherwise, the only thing he's won was with Thomas Pieters, his fellow Illini,
Yeah,
in
won
the
the World Cup.
2018 World Cup down at, was that at Metro, that one?
I'm not sure which one that was.
That was at Metro. So, proper golf
Yeah,
course. But, yeah, really good player. I mean, like, it's kinda like he's what, 30 now? 31?
32.
And it's like, "Damn, dude." Like, kind of a weird late blooming situation.
Yeah, if you're getting into the stats, like, he just doesn't, really have the approach game. It seems like he's negative strokes gained approach most weeks, so there is a little bit of you hear everybody talk about how talented he is. I think he putts the lights out, and just with the irons has not really overperformed or not, which kinda seems like the fastest way to become a guy who's constantly in contention for victories, but, second in the field with the irons this week, and there we go, man. There you have it. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, just going back to that pressure tool thing from Data Golf that you're talking about. He's had an expected win of almost 2.5 wins going into the final rounds. Like
Yeah.
basically on where you start the final rounds, like you should have won 2.5 tournaments, and he had won 0. Give it like it was some really really bad final rounds. But it's so funny, DJ. Like that approach play just doesn't. I don't know if he's made swing changes or kind of what to expect going forward. But watching that iron play
That
all
shocked
week
me.
was just
I
like,
know.
what the hell? How does that ever go wrong?
Yep.
I know. He's one of those guys that, like, you just watch his golf swing, you're like, "Yeah, no, that's it. That's what golf swings look like." He's this guy, it's like one of those things you can get yourself in trouble when you don't actually look up the numbers, right? Where you just watch
Yes.
him play,
Oh,
like,
he's a
3
ball
holes, you're
striker.
like, "Oh my god, just an absolutely elite ball striker." And then I had to look, I was like, "Oh, actually, no, he's like, doesn't hit it very good." Like, I think maybe that's why he hasn't won very
Yeah.
much.
Guys, fun tidbit. He's coached now by the same guy that coaches Adrian Moronk.
Is
Big
that
week
right?
for our
Wow.
guy Jerome Thunis or Theonis. He used to coach Peters as well. So, uh, like I think for me today, the shot into 11
Yeah.
that he hit was like wildly unnecessary to go up that pin.
Maybe he might have tugged it a little bit. Might have tugged it a little
But
bit.
the fact that like that's a 470-yard par four, one of the hardest holes on the course, and he made it look like child's play. And I thought, overall, like part of the reason I enjoyed watching this weekend so much was because like the setup was just awesome
Yeah.
too. It seemed like I know JT mentioned that on the broadcast. They seem to have made it a point to, shove some of the pins a little bit closer to the edges and spots. And Solly, you said it on X, just a matter of like there's actual slope in these greens and plateaus, and there's like a difference between an okay shot and a good shot and a good shot and a great shot. And there's short grass all over the place, like like right behind 16. Perfect example of, Detry hit the shot that he needed to hit. He landed it in the exact right spot. Berger hit it maybe a yard and a half, 2 yards past that, and,
Two-shot swing.
yeah, it was a two-shot swing right there. So
It looked
it's
like
just a yeah.
like Burgers. I have no idea on this, but it looked like Burger had like lower lofted club, too much club, and couldn't trying to jam it back there. And it looked like it was a perfect number for Dietrich. He'd get the right amount of spin on it. Maybe Burger was taking some off of it, but it shoots right through. We're gonna do a couple stats later on, but 57% of the field hit the green on 16 today to that back pin, whereas
Jeez.
82% of the field was hitting it on Friday and Saturday. And to your point, TC, like a lot of we get really bogged down hating on a lot of golf courses for being formulaic and being like I understand why Torrey Pines has thick rough, right? Because it's a bad design and like how to challenge the best players. I don't it's not the way I would like to see them challenged, but like that golf course makes sense to have thick rough because there's not some of these angles and green contours and variety of shot styles into those greens like we're going to get at TPC Sawgrass, right? So it's a course that plays well with less rough and also just doesn't have a ton of rough to begin with because you get farther off of that and you end up in these sandy areas with bushes and trees and all kinds of creative shots that are required to get out of those. And all of those spots are bad angles to come into these greens. It matters, which again, it's only going to matter if the greens are firm, only going to matter if the contouring is interesting, and all the greens, the contouring is interesting, and it's only going to matter if the pins are in interesting spots. But they do an unbelievable job with the setup of this. Like, just watch the 17th hole, the front right pin on Saturday. I've never seen it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen it jammed up that far in the front right. How all the short grass, all to the right, and all the contouring around it created so many interesting shots of not only did you have to play one into the bank, but kind of the way that knob worked in that front right was you had to play it, kind of at at the proper angle up the knob to get it to go up there. And it's almost hard to appreciate how, talented these guys are at some of these shots because way too often we just see them flopping 60s out of the rough. And so I'm
Yeah.
ranting on it because it gets me like legitimately excited watching this golf tournament. Like I freaking love this golf tournament.
I think beyond that too, it forces them to think. And that's the most underrated thing out there. And I think overall, like, I've played probably 4 or 5 Weiskopf courses, and they're all like, I don't know, I feel like I've had to think on all of them. There's always a good short par 4 or 2. There's always some engaging par 3s. And it's just really interesting. I apologize. Freddie is outside hitting basketballs against the garage door from the
Sounds like that hoop is fixed that I allegedly broke. So go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say I think what's kind of funny about this golf tournament is that it is so widely known and popularized as like just a complete shit show and just go and drink your
Yeah.
face off and whatever. And it weirdly is one of the most thinking like proper tests on the PJ Tour. I was watching it today, and I think the best example probably or the most extreme example is Like, look at Scotty's front nine versus his back nine today. He went 31-41. And when you have it going on a golf course like that, it looks really easy. You know, it looks like when you can control your spin, you can control your shape, you can control where you're pitching the ball, where it's running out to, and you make a couple putts. It's like, man, you could absolutely go shoot 64. And when you don't, it's like, man, you could absolutely go shoot 78 out there as well. And it just makes for a really fun watch. So to your point, Solly, where it was kind of like, oh, this was never in danger for Detry. I kind of almost felt the opposite. Like, obviously he slammed the door on 16, 17, 18. But what was so fun about today was there were enough, it almost felt like a horse race where there was enough chasers and enough, like, honestly, like big names and people who, have firepower that you
Somebody's
could,
going to go birdie the last
yeah.
4 potentially. It would happen to be
And
Detry.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, like, when Scotty goes out and birdies 4 of the first 6, you're like, okay, I can see how this movie might end. And like, this could, like, once he gets to the back nine's easy. He's not going to go shoot 41 on the back, and it's like, it's not even like Detry would have needed to blow up. It's almost like if you can get
Yeah.
stuck in neutral trying to play really safe and really quote unquote smart on a setup like that. And you saw it kind of with Detry on the front nine or in that like middle third where he kind of starts playing away from some of the pins, and all of a sudden he's got these weird, really touchy 50-foot lag putts. That's like, man, that you're not gonna two putt
Can't
all
do
of
that all
those.
day. Cannot.
Yeah, and so it just makes for a really, really fun one. And then all of a sudden, the broadcast is flying over, and oh, here's another guy that made 3 birdies in a row, or Spieth just made this one. It just is a really, really fun setup, fun tournament, fun leaderboard, and like a ton of great names involved today too.
I thought
So
on 13 when Detry like left it short there, like
yeah,
3 putted on 13. I was like, all right, like this is a gas leak that we're
totally.
looking at here. And DB is absolutely vibing his face off right now. And this is gonna get really, really good.
Well, that's
And
what
then
was
he gut checked himself and just ran away with it. It was
well,
really impressive.
DB is kind of the other example of a little bit of what we're talking about here. It's like it's almost like going to a casino, right? And like you could start running downhill for 6, 7 holes at a time, man. You just keep getting the right cards, keep getting the right rolls, whatever. But then you saw, what was that, 14, where
Yeah.
the pins tucked so far on the left, and DB is uh,
Hunting.
just hunting. It's like, dude, why are you going at that
That's
flag,
not the
man?
play. I don't
And he
care
leaves
if
it in
you're
the
down.
bunker, and then he happens to hit the flop and chips in, and wins wins another hand. And then 16 was where it just kind of like we said, it got a little out over his skis. But fun mix of characters, man. Daniel Berger, we've mentioned a couple times. Just again worth mentioning. Guy was out for like a year and a half with a back injury, and has played some decent golf, a couple top tens. I think this is maybe third top 10 since coming back at the start of last year. But I think today was the best example for me of just remembering how freaking good this guy is and how
Yeah.
dynamic he is, the different shots he hits. He's hitting
He's a hunter.
those weird punchy drivers that have like 180. Oh, he's pushing like 180 ball speed, but they get like 50 feet off the air or off the ground. I mean, it's really fun, man. And watching him flag hunt and make putts, it's just you kind of heard JT talking a little bit about just what kind of player he is and how he's just the worst guy to possibly bet against. And I don't know, just a guy that from a time that I probably liked golf as much as I have in my entire life, he was kind of one of those characters at that point, and it's just very fun to have him back.
He's the everybody see the leprechaun say yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
God, I think he would be so good. Like, get him back on the Ryder Cup team. Like, I think he's a perfect guy for the US to have on that squad. He just, you know, cocky, like good match play vibes, momentum player, all that. I just want to see him make more money too, and I want to see how big his boats get progressively.
How big the
It's one of
fleet
my
can get.
favorite. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the admiral of the entire armada
that's
down
right.
there in Jupe, and the straight vibe and armada, and I think he's got one with like four outboard engines on it. Like, I want to see him get into the true yacht game, or the big tuna tower game. So,
It's
Let's
kind
make
of
that a
yeah.
2025 goal, TC. We get down there, we do a pod with him on the boat, on an
oh,
actual boat. We've done one. He's got a
love
sick
that.
backyard too. It was episode 797. I just looked it up that we did with him. Just truly vibing out on the back porch. His quote, I forget, I don't have it in front of me, about how somebody tweeted it out today. I saw where he was kind of like talked about
Oh,
you have
I,
it, or do you know
no,
what
I
it
don't.
was?
But about the, like, when they were kind of cutting back playing opportunities.
Yes.
right? And there was fewer cards and fewer space available in some of these events. And I'm loosely paraphrasing, but not by much. He was like, "Yeah, I don't really think about that. Like, I don't when I'm playing good, I'm better than pretty much everybody out here. So I'm just not really worried." And you kind of saw, I don't know, man. I don't think he's way off with that one. When he gets it going, it is
Yeah.
his best is as good as anybody's.
Like, and like he's won on real golf courses, like Memphis, he's won twice, Colonial, Pebble.
Yeah.
He lost in a playoff at Honda, Travelers, like courses where you have to play with flair and play with creativity and everything. But I don't know. Gosh, if only the tour had this thing where they owned a network of courses that they can make changes to and put more slope into some of these greens and make for, more exciting tournament golf. If only, right?
Someday, TC. Maybe they can use some of that SSG investment. Maybe buy a portfolio of golf courses and tie them all together under some umbrella or something like that. I think could be an
Is it
interesting idea.
am I alone here that I love this watching this golf course, great pro golf course. I also like I'm totally fine if I never play it. Like it's not a course I crave playing, yet it's one of my favorite courses to watch on the PGA Tour, which is a really weird kind of part of the square diagram.
Would love to play 5 holes out there. Would love to go out and play a little 5-hole loop maybe, and
Yeah.
then I think there's about 13 that I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like, which hole is that again?" Like, I don't remember that, but when I'm
They
watching,
work.
like, to your point, yeah, when I'm
Yep.
watching these guys play it, I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I see what the challenge is there and why that bunker's there and why that waste area is there and what that what that finger of the green means for angles," and it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
We're raving
What
because I think
else falls in
it's
that
really fun.
bucket?
I mean, Sawgrass isn't totally far off from that. You can get punished pretty good
Sawgrass is
out
still
there.
like, all right, like if you want to test yourself and like it's memorable, it's more memorable throughout, right? TPC San Antonio, the AT&T Oaks
The
course,
AT&T Oaks course.
I don't even like
kind of
watching that one. I'm good
kind of
there.
strikes me as that. Even Honda, like there's
Qu
certain stuff at Honda where I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to
Yeah.
play that, but I
That's
like
probably the
watching
best
those guys
example.
play that.
Yeah.
Quail Hollow, maybe?
There's plenty that I don't want to play.
Yeah.
Just very few that I'm like, dude, this is one of my favorite ones to watch and don't want to play is few and far between.
Yeah.
We mentioned Daniel Berger. He shared second with Michael Kim, NLU podcast listener and former guest Michael Kim. Great to see. I know it's been kind of a weird stretch for him. I mean, a very feast or famine, a lot of missed cuts over through the fat part of last year, but also I think he's top 20 in like 4 of his last 8 starts, something like that. So, seems to be finding his feet and finding some form and, fun to watch that recovery.
I don't know if we can take full credit for this, but it would be a massive coincidence if all of a sudden, shortly after we do a Joe Mayo pod that goes pretty bonkers in the in the golf world, relatively speaking, that he is was on Joe's Instagram getting a lesson this week, and he finished ninth in strokes gained around the green this week. Joe was tweeting out some of the videos of his improved position at address and improved his steepness and all this stuff, and I mean that looks like it could be a very fruitful relationship as well. I hear he's a stacker as well,
Think
which again,
so.
I don't know if we can
Wow.
take full credit. We didn't invent the stack, but we've been pumping it pretty hard. And I think we're about to do that here
It's always
very
that.
shortly
Yeah,
as
I was
well.
just gonna ask if that was a segue, for a quick word from our friends at the Stack System, used by many tour players, it and used by myself and Soly as well. Got in the garage this week, Soly fired it
Tell me
back up.
about it. Talk to
Y
me.
it's just I look forward to you know what I'll say? I look forward to doing that maybe more than I do going and hitting balls.
That
Like, it's just
sounds about right. Yeah.
it's such a gamified way to try to just raise your ceiling, to try to get that cruising speed up there a little higher, and I can feel it when I do go to hit balls. You're not swinging like a gorilla, the whole entire time like you do when you're swinging the stack, this weighted, speed training system. But man, you just got more face awareness. You've got more just cruising speed. I know I keep saying that, but that's what it is. I think for some real numbers, when I was in the simulator last, I was swinging as hard as I possibly could, trying to just post the biggest ball speed number I could. I got to like 162, which is, it's nothing crazy, but it's
Sick
serviceable.
from where you were at. Yeah.
And then when I was like, all right, well, now let's see what like where the floor is. So I'm just going to swing at what feels like I'm at, 75, 80%. I was cruising like 155, and it's like it feels like a different golf swing. It feels so much more in control, but all you're doing is basically raising your floor. So have I missed anything there? Anything else you want to say about the stack, Solly?
I just saw it on Cody on Instagram today, called it the best purchase he's ever made. Which
Golf
listen,
purchase.
that's no, I think best purchase ever. Which I think is a heck of an endorsement, and I'm still out of sync of my routines, and I get like legitimately jealous when I get a update. When I just see a message come in from DJ that's just an image, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what this is going to be. He just hit a new personal best swing speed. So check it out, thestacksystem.com/no laying up. Code no laying up for 10% off of the stack. It is incredible for your golf game. We need to get TC doing it, and I'm excited. Once I get past this tournament, I'm getting back into the flow.
I saw some grainy footage from the Caribbean islands of
From St.
what
John.
looked like Neil doing the stack. I've got some other friends just, hey man, you gotta what was that stack code again? So my stable of golfers now is just
It's getting
inside
big.
the app. Yeah, I gotta scroll to see all the names of the people I'm tracking in there. Guys, I would say if anybody bet on us waiting until the second ad break to
I
talk about
can't
Jordan
believe it.
Spieth, congratulations. You can go cash those tickets, but our beautiful boy appears to be back with some form. Not his best week at Pebble last week, but he was back with a T4 at a golf course that he clearly loves and tends to play quite well here. I believe Colt Nost had a note on the broadcast yesterday that I don't think he's finished within 12 shots of a winner in a year since finishing T6 at Phoenix last year. This in his second start since his wrist surgery, like I said, T4, and looked like he was maybe going to make a run for about 6 or 7 minutes today. I was kind of letting myself believe it, but not quite there yet. Soly, what'd you see from Jordan this week?
I was looking for the flaws that we've seen over the last several years of just like the little spurt that he'll make and then he'll just retreat and go backwards. And I didn't see it. I did not see it. It was a way more consistent Jordan. I still think I don't think this was like a flash in the pan. I think he could play obviously better than he did. His driving got a little erratic over the course of the weekend, but it didn't lead to bogeys. Like he just played in really smart spots, and he was so good on those like 5-foot putts that I have to look away from normally when he's putting, just
So
because.
does he. He looks at the
Yeah.
hole now as well.
13th in putting this week, second in strokes gained approach. And I think the one thing he has gotten a lot better at over the course of the last few years when he hasn't played his best golf is his driving, and it wasn't his best driving week. So like the fact that he could putt it that well, hit it that good with the irons, and have this good of a week without driving it great, honestly has me like back to believing. I wish I hadn't wavered, but I have wavered. I have to be honest. I have to repent for
You
this,
Wow.
but
denied him 3 times.
I did not deny him 3 times, but the numbers kind of don't lie, and the last 7 years, 8 years really does not lie, and, I've been skeptical, but now I'm starting to believe.
He's
Starting to get
healthy.
starting to get whiffs, but he hasn't been hurt for 7 years is
Oh,
part of
he
the
could have been mentally
We
hurt
don't
for
is
know.
7
part of the
irons.
deal.
Yeah.
Like, I know the wrist is the most recent
Mental
issue,
health
but,
is
like,
health, Solly.
that's
That's
true, that
exact
is true,
Well
but
said. I just
I'm feeling
have to
something.
shout out the stretch in round 2 where he eagled both 13 and 15, and then birdied 17. Just that's it, man. That's the full experience. TC, you buying what you're seeing here?
I
Is this
I've been
real?
I've been buying, homie.
Just
Yeah,
dollar
yeah.
cost
I'm
averaging
d
every
yeah,
month?
I was gonna say, I've been stacking. It's like my fart coin. So, listen, you're preaching to the choir here. He putted or I thought he was gonna putt left-handed. Or did he putt left-handed?
He
He
did
putted
putt
left-handed
Of
out of
course.
out of that
Yeah.
bush, and then he got up and down from there. It was insane. That was fantastic.
It
It's a
wasn't the Spieth
swashbuckler
cocaine
golf
ride, though.
course.
It wasn't the cocaine ride, which felt a little foreign. That
There
was
were
the one moment.
there were a couple
Yeah,
bumps in there, but nothing, nothing egregious. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael's got that look in his eye. We're back, baby.
it was funny.
Uh,
Burger on 14 when he flopped it out of the bunker and then was short and then chipped in. Made par. Of course, I have a small TV outside, so it's kind of hard to see.
of course.
And my father-in-law was like, "That would look like a very Jordan Spieth par." It's like, actually, that's Daniel Berger, but that was a very Jordan Spieth par.
Yeah, listen, would I love to be going to Riviera next week instead of Torrey Pines? Yes,
That would
but
be a lot more fun.
what are you gonna do?
He
Speaking of which,
qualified on his own, though. Yeah.
that's true, and that's what I was gonna ask about. A lot of waves out there on social media. I think largely led by our guy Joseph Lamagna at the Fried Egg. Wrote a lot about sponsor exemptions and should Spieth be getting into these events. I just want to ask you guys if you had any reaction on this. Should it be a true meritocracy out there? I think it's a worthwhile conversation.
I think Spieth's record warrants it, and I think him being hurt, having surgery last year. It's almost like a major medical. If it was somebody else, like Ricky, for instance, I don't think Ricky should be in, but I think Spieth warrants it. Yeah, so I have no issue with it. Although I would be fine if they got rid of sponsor exemptions completely for the signature events. I'm fine with that too.
I know. That's I'm kind of stuck in the middle too, where I'm like, I obviously read Joseph's stuff all the time, and so when I was reading this, I'm so Alonzo Mourning gif of like, this is the most idealistic, unbelievable thing I've ever read. Like, of course, Jordan Spieth needs to be at all these events. What the hell are we talking about? And then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, God, I mean, yeah, I don't know. You don't just get like a. I mean, is it a meritocracy or is it not? Like, I don't. I could kind of. I see where he's coming from for sure. It's a truly fucking electric conversation. I just
Until they
so
get rid of the like I got deep on the field list actually this week. I want to shout out Chance Cosby and the Thunderbirds for using their sponsor exemptions much better than they have in previous years. We didn't see a JB Holmes in the mix or Ricky Barnes or somebody like that. They did good things there. But until we get rid of this entitlement reform out there, like we need entitlement reform with Zach Johnson is on his top 25 money list exemption right now. Charlie Hoffman is on that as well. I think there's 3 guys out there right now on that. And like it's not a meritocracy as long as we have shit like that. So as long as we have shit like that, let's also have sponsor exemptions that add dynamic players to fields.
I'm so with you on like the Ricky versus Jordan thing. Like, is it a very clear, like, does Jordan Spieth make this tournament better and more interesting? Like, especially for the fact that these things are not in a vacuum. Like, there is a sponsor that puts up money for this thing, and if the sponsor wants to put Jordan Spieth in their field, that just is a reality of professional golf. The same way grandstands are a reality of professional golf. The same way, it's there's a certain play box that we all got to play in, like of things you got to concede, right? It's like it can still be a meritocracy with like some things around the edges that are like, okay, yeah, that's kind of part of the deal of this whole big corporate thing, and that's what it is. It's a massive corporate tour of like getting these guys money for them to go put on a show from place to place. So does it diminish the competition in any way to have Jordan get in on a bypass? I personally do not believe that at all. But do I think like some of these exemptions don't get used in the right way? And like, yeah, am I good on seeing Ricky right now? Yeah, I definitely am. But when it comes to somebody like Jordan, I think the best use of sponsor exemption is to capture something, a player that's trending, a player that is missing from the field for some decent reason that the qualifying criteria didn't capture, right? And for Jordan Spieth, I would say like, yeah, he played all last season hurt and finally got the surgery, and he has obviously a popular player that has incredible talent. Of like that works for me. Of like, yeah, like is Jordan Spieth one of the best 50 golfers in the world when he's healthy? Without any doubt. Like, did that get captured last year because he was hurt? No. So getting a sponsor exemption under that work makes a lot of sense. Like, is Ricky one of the 50 best players in the world? He's not hurt as far as I can tell. Like, I would certainly argue against that, right? And I know that's not necessarily how all the exemptions get used, but for Spieth in particular, like, absolutely, I would have had no problem with him getting exemption
And if
this
Jordan
week.
plays like shit all year this year, healthy,
Then yeah, I'd be
then
like,
don't give him an exemption next year,
totally.
right? But I think also, first of all, Solid, you couldn't see Ricky this week.
It's
He
true.
was
he got
camouflaged. Uh, but
You stored that
and
one away for like 90
no,
seconds.
I no, yeah, yeah. 90 seconds, not like 90 minutes, because we're gonna get to that later on. Also, the guy giving out the sponsor exemptions this week is Tiger.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Like,
Well, this coming week,
of
yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah.
at the Genesis.
So
Well, maybe he shouldn't be in the field either. TC, he's not. Is he qualified? I don't know. Just kidding.
It's
Uh,
also that it doesn't, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater to say it's not a meritocracy just because there's a few exemptions at the end of the field. Like, you still got to like go play the golf and go beat the people. Do I think like it's too much of a free crack giveaway on points and money and all that? Yeah, points more so than money. Like, the money is kind of what the thing is designed for. Do I think they should be giving out as many points? And I can get down with the whole like, yeah, you don't get points for if you're a
that's
sponsor
sick.
exemption, you get money, but you
that'd be
don't get
sick.
points for it.
Yeah.
I'd be
I can
way
get
down
totally
with
down
that.
with that. That makes a ton of sense in terms of just playing favorites for who gets to keep status and all of that. But as far as playing the tournament, yeah, get the guys in there going to make the tournament more interesting. It's an
And I
entertainment
guess
product.
maybe that's where so everything you just said is extremely logical, and I agree with all of it. But I also want to commend
But
Joseph for takes like this, because I
Yeah.
think they push the conversation forward. They're provocative. They get the people going. It gets gets the brain working at least. That's what I'm for.
one final thing I will say on that, and this is not what Joseph is saying, is I hear this like, because the PGA Tour has sponsor exemptions, like it's the same as LIV. Like, well, how come LIV doesn't get OWGR points? It's like that we're talking about two very, very, very different qualification systems here, and versus like 40% of it is just free crack giveaway on LIV, maybe 60%, and like maybe 2% on the PGA Tour is a free crack giveaway, which again, it's easier if it goes away. I understand that, but like, let's not lose focus here on how much qualification there actually is on the PGA Tour level.
Soly, we did this a couple of weeks ago. I greatly enjoyed it and called for you to dial up another one, but you did kind of just 5 stats we should be keeping an eye on. I believe you were talking about Tom Kim's ball speed last time. We're talking about a couple other things to just be tracking. I was curious if you drummed up anything good for us this week.
Got a few. So the 11th was the hardest hole on Sunday and for the week. That's not really a surprise. Very difficult par 4, water, all that stuff. What do you think the second hardest hole was on this Sunday?
16?
It might have been 16.
It was 16.
Yeah.
It was
Played like
only
60 yards longer than it did yesterday.
Only the 9th hardest for the week, but second hardest on Sunday and played over par. As I mentioned earlier, 57% of the field hit the green, 82% hit it in rounds 2 and 3, which I know the pin changed, but it's just interesting to see how much approaches change on hitting the green. Yeah,
I think that's a really cool balance between Saturday and Sunday, and I bet it was just as exciting today seeing guys try to get it up and down because that going long there was absolutely boned.
Peter Malnati, he gained almost 11 shots around the green this week. 11. The second best was Minwoo Lee at 6.7, and third best was Hideki at 4.7. So he had more than double strokes gained around the green as the person with the fourth most strokes gained around the green. However, he was dead last at approach and lost 9.2 shots to the field at approach. Truly a wild week for Mr. Malnati.
Minwoo, Deej brought it up earlier. He's got to be struggling with the price of eggs right now.
I know. He's just got all kinds of, souffles he's doing and just so much stuff cooking right now.
Will Chandler, the Monday qualifier, was the 4th worst in driving for the week. Was first in putting, lost strokes with ball striking, and finished in a tie for 6th in a PGA Tour event after Monday qualifying.
Jesus.
That's a ridiculous accomplishment.
Soly, you know where Will Chandler graduated high school?
I do not.
Marist School.
The
in
Marist
Atlanta,
School.
Georgia.
Congratulations. That's a big week.
And he really didn't even I believe he's a Dunway Country Club guy. He didn't even really start at Georgia. It's been kind of a late bloomer. It's been cool to see. So really, really impressive week from him. And impressive Sunday, especially.
Following up on one from last week, Nick Dunlap was last in the field in driving this week. The distance is still down and still only hit 50% of the fairways. Lost 5 shots off the tee this week. So not sure what's going on there, but
that's
monitoring.
a tough way to play PGA Tour golf there, Soly.
We are monitoring that one. Okay.
Especially when that's your calling card.
Yeah.
Last one. He did not win yet again this week. That is 2 straight tournaments that Scotty Scheffler did not win.
That's a hell of a stat.
Can you tell me the last time
oh God
that Scotty Scheffler did not win he went 3 tournaments without winning one?
I mean, technically Pebble was a rehab start, right?
I think that was on the big tour.
I think he was on the 26-man roster for that one. Gosh, the last time, last year didn't he win was it 5 out of 8 or something like that? Over one it had to be what before, probably last spring, basically, right? Before Bay Hill.
That's exactly right. Bay Hill. He won Bay Hill. Then he won the Players. Then he finished second at the Houston Open to Steven Yeager. Then won the Masters and the RBC Heritage. So he won 4 out of 5 at that point. But prior to that, he was T6, T3, T10. That was the last time he went 3 tournaments in a row in this exact stretch, actually. Pebble. That was Pebble, Phoenix, and Genesis. And then went win, second, win, 8th, second, win, 41st, win, 7th, win, 4th, tie for 33rd. So that was the last time he lost 2 in a row, was the FedEx St. Jude Championship and the BMW Championship. Then won the Tour Championship, won the Hero World Challenge, and then these last 2 starts. So monitoring that to see if he can keep the streak alive next week.
Do we want to talk about the back nine 41? Is that a thing? Is that
A lot of
a
anger.
lot
He
of
was
anger? He's
upset.
smashing his golf bag on what was that Friday?
tried to backstop on 18 today.
Well, even when he holed the bunker shot on 10 on Thursday, from the fairway, he just was like, looked like he was. I mean, he was 2 over at that point, but he just looked irritated and pissed off already to that point. So I don't know. He just was a little more peeved, a little more impatient than I would expect for somebody coming off a surgery and missing the
Yeah.
early part of the year. Like, got to give yourself a little bit of grace to get up and moving on a lot of stuff, but. No, not a typical Scotty week. Struggled around the greens a fair amount and just not anywhere close to the ball striking we're used to seeing.
When he birdied 6, I legitimately thought he was going to win.
I thought so too. He was
I
the
was like, "Oh,
second favorite.
Detry's gonna throw up, and Scotty's just gonna shoot 62 and steal this thing."
He was T13 going into the weekend, and he was the favorite to win the tournament. It's
That's
so
such a joke.
absurd.
That's sick.
Oh god. Solid, that's good stuff, man. Thank you for that. That reframes the week. It helps me,
These are fun.
keep my own notebook organized. And
Solly, I've got one other stat that stuck
Okay.
out to me from this week. You know who was fourth in putting this week?
JT.
Gained 7.385 strokes on the field. Cameron Young.
Whoa.
So surely
Not
he
a name
won,
that was
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
not a name that was at the top of my list.
His approach game was off. He was 65th in approach, but
not good.
yeah, that was surprising to see.
T12 for the week for young Cam. TC, why don't you empty your own notebook? What else we got? Why don't we go down the leaderboard a little bit? I know you got a couple other odds and ends you want to get to.
Yeah, we haven't talked to any Rasmus. Actually, Mav played well. Yeah, Mav's playing good golf
Continues
right
to play
now.
well, yeah.
Rasmus Højgaard, not the finish we were looking for from him. Didn't really have his A game all day. I think the approach play especially was a little wipey. He's
I
missing a
was
lot out to
I
the
was
right.
told earlier that you will remember this. I don't know in what context,
You
but that
will.
you'll be jotting this. I don't know if you're just remembering his
You
final round
will. Well,
71. It
you
wasn't
know, I mean,
good.
at one point we had a complete brigade of Europeans at the top of the board between Big Shot Bob and Rasmus, Detry,
A lot of
there's
Europeans in the mentions,
Sep.
getting amped about Bethpage. About a few wins in a row here with Sepp and Rory and Thomas Detry.
Yeah.
I think
Listen,
we might have a
the
point or two.
Europeans very well may win. As somebody who's been very, very guilty of getting very excited about a team in January and February, just let's cool the jets a little
Hey,
bit.
I'm not worried about it. We got great leadership with Dodo and Luke and all of our, Bjorn, all of our ass caps. We're in great hands. I'm not worried at all about getting out over our skis. Sep solo 15th continues to play great golf. 66 today, 68, 66
Ra-
on the weekend.
Can I go back to Rasmus? Just some seriously ugly scorecards.
Yeah,
Just
for sure.
really, really a
The
ton of
floor is high.
ton of polygons all over the place, DC. Just
The floor is
doubles and
high and
eagles and
or
birdies
the
and
floor is
bogeys.
low
It's
and the ceiling
crazy.
is high, and you're gonna get a lot of that in the same round.
Can I get
I
you
like
He's
Rasmus.
a
Was
volatile
I
player.
just want to be on record with this. Love his aesthetic. Love his golf swing.
Thank you, Solly.
that
In a
feels like
little.
Thank
pandering.
you.
No, I
I'd
swear
li
I have him in a little fantasy league I do away from you guys. I'm a Rasmus Højgaard stockholder. So
Can I get you on the
It's
record, TC, just because this allegation was lobbed internally today, I believe
yeah,
by Ben, that
and you.
Rasmus might be a ball speed imposter.
He's not. He's not a ball speed imposter at all. He's a ball striker. He's a proper player. He's not a poofer, and he's a stud. We have not seen his best golf yet, nor have we seen Nikolai's best golf yet. But I think Rasmus wins this year, no doubt in my mind. And he's going to be a perfect
Uh,
fit for Bethpage,
on the PJ Tour or on that other tour?
PGA Tour.
Okay.
TC, I'm going to ride with you on everything you just said there. He is not a ball
Thank
speed
you.
imposter. He will probably win this year, and I think he's a great fit for Bethpage. He's
Thank
one of
you.
many reasons why I'm worried.
We got just another top 20 from JT Poston, pound for pound best player in the world.
We
Uh,
didn't mention JT finishing T6 and also holing out for Eagle on the 18th hole as well today. I know we're racing
And
down
also
the
spending
leaderboard
some
here.
time in the booth, right? I
Correct.
mean,
with Amanda, who was wearing the live letter jacket.
yeah, that might have been a Amanda to live question mark. Wear that Letterman jacket, the Rick Shields Letterman jacket. Yeah, JT. Listen, obviously the golf continues to trend in the right direction, but also like if you're going to put out a letter about doing broadcast stuff, I mean, good to see him walking the walk and spending some time in the booth. Thought he had some good insights in there.
Jordan, JT at the top of the leaderboards. It's starting to feel a little bit like old times.
And
Yeah.
DB.
That's right.
Nikolai Højgaard, T36. Just wanted to shout that out. A lot of Canadians made the cut this week. Don't know what to make of that.
That's
Um,
Scottsdale, man. The
yeah,
Canadians
that's true.
fucking love
Yeah.
Scottsdale.
Tom Kim, 72, 73 on the weekend.
Mm.
So, and I got a
DC tried to
picture.
cancel him.
Well, how was his ball speed though?
I got a picture of him on 18 finishing up, and the group behind him had their hands on their hips, waiting. Looked like a biker gang behind him, just trying, frustrated about the pace of play out there.
Mm.
So, that's really it as far as like, I don't know. I'm starting to worry about Sahith a little bit.
Yeah.
Need to start seeing something from him. And
Everybody seems to be coming around. I will say he was in our winners draft. He was my pick this week, so I will not be getting any points for that.
And then as far as my down the kind of the news and notes stuff, Rick's outfit, we talked about that earlier, the camo. I thought it was fire. I thought it
Of
was
course,
great. I enjoyed it.
I'm so in it. And what I really enjoyed, it brought our guy Boo Weekly out of the woodwork as he just took to social media to basically lob that he wanted to wear camo pants one time, and the tour wouldn't let him because they said it wasn't quote a real color. So just I don't know why I just was so tickled by that, but Boo Weekly was that was a big watershed moment. It seemed like very, very good for representation for folks like Boo to see Ricky just out there doing his thing, and being celebrated for it.
It's just like all the Jason Day stuff. There's other guys that have been denied the ability to wear certain things on tour. And meanwhile, the tour seems to take a blind eye to Jason Day's stuff. I like Jason Day's stuff, but they're taking a blind eye. It's inconsistent.
Do we know if he's been fined or not? Like, there has to have been.
What if he just gets
something.
fined every week?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe. What else we got?
God, I just feel like the tour's got some other shit to deal with right now, rather than finding Ricky for wearing camouflage.
Alex, I keep hearing about Alex Smalley's mom, and I gotta get somebody to come on the pod and talk about this. She sounds like the biggest helicopter parent in the history of sports.
I was trying to do some research. All I could find was one article where she seemed to kind of be taking the lead on the interview and calling herself the momager.
Oh, the momager,
which is both clever and also just kind of a maybe not. I don't know if that's
a bridge.
Yeah,
I guess they're just inseparable in dining. They always eat outside together. She gets the courtesy car. They like, it's just a lot, and guys are like kind of feeling bad for him. So I'm just we might have to do like kind of a Britney Spears emancipation kind of
conservatorship
here at some or reverse conservatorship, whatever. So he
got
played
nice
pretty
golf
well
swing.
this week.
He's got a really nice golf swing.
T21 this week. Yeah.
Let's see. Of course, Grillo had a hole in one. That was electric.
Blew out the O-ring.
You know, it's not electric. The whole Shooter McGavin. I think I'm good on that.
I had no idea where you're going to go. And that is how I describe it. It's just not electric.
We got to pace ourselves on this one because I can't get upset this early about it because I think it's going to be like all year. I think there's going to be a lot of this. So
I don't think Shooter's got a lot else going on, man. I think he is very much available.
I don't think Shooter's had a lot going on for a while now.
I think Shooter is available for your party or event. Just give him a shout.
He may have an ankle bracelet on, but he is available. Reach out to his agent.
You better watch out in the desert. Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
That's right.
Being one of those teepee jails out there. So what else? Bud Colley continues to kind of poke his head out. He's starting to show some form. He was hurt for a long time and came back last year and seems to be really getting back into form now.
Never
and then
what was your guys' whole inside joke about that? I feel like one of the only ones I had to catch up on.
This is pre NLU days, but I like just started learning about golf gambling. Like just barely started to learn and learned that Bud Colley was 250 to 1 to win the Masters back in like 2012. And I was like, you get $250 for $1? No way. And I was like, guys, we should bet on Bud Colley to win the Masters. Like, holy shit, 250 to 1. It took us like a week to figure out, like, dude, he's not in the field. He's not even in the fucking field. So
Bit
my
of a
whole thing,
Cody Scott Stalling situation.
my whole thing just kept reaching. Like, dude, don't count that guy. You never know. It was the whole back nine of that 2012 Masters, I think it was.
It sounds
Very
about
dumb
like
bet.
my golf gambling right now. I need to rework my models. I'm fucking lost.
I know you had a mouse come in and chew some wiring on your models or something. It's just
Bad.
the machine's been uncalibrated for a while.
The eye test, the eye test just isn't working anymore. It's crazy.
I think if we converge the data and the eye test, TC, I think we could make something really
That's
special.
interesting. That would be. I would
Yeah.
listen to that. You guys.
God, I was on like Frankie Sappin this week. He finished like 4th to last. Brendan Todd was DFL again. I want to congratulate the Beluga for that.
Well,
Tom Hoagie finished 3rd to last, which it's not a
Exactly.
signature event.
Purse
So
is
it
not.
doesn't matter.
Purse isn't big enough. That's right.
Soly, I was on the Data Golf. I have
You
Data
were?
Golf homework for you. Yeah,
Okay.
I was on the Data Golf thing just because I wanted to see how far back. You had a note in here that DB got up to 4th in the world in Data Golf ranking at one point.
Yeah, I put that in there. Just kind of
and I wanted to-
people forget
yeah.
how freaking good that guy was.
Yeah. And so I wanted to go back and ask you, have there been more OWGR world number ones or Data Golf world number ones? Data Golf rankings go all the way back to January 1995. And I will give you guys, who do you think was the top 10 in the Data Golf ranking in January 1995?
Oh, I should ace this with all the 90s pods me and KVV have been doing. So 95.
You want to go 1 and 1 here?
Sure, let's do it.
I will throw out Nick Price.
Nick Price has got to be number 1.
Nick Price was number 2.
Okay. Faldo's got to be up there.
Faldo was number 8.
Okay.
Ernie, it's got to be Ernie Els then.
Ernie was not in yet. He was 13th.
Whoa.
Okay. Norman
was 1.
Yeah.
Tom Kite.
Tom Kite was 21 for Kite.
Couples.
Couples, correct. 7th.
Yep.
Longer
was 16th.
Is this end of
Right
95 or
behind
beginning of 95?
Beginning of 95.
He won the Masters that year.
Bob
No,
Estes
that was Crenshaw. What am I talking
Crenshaw
about?
was 15th.
Langer was number 3. Give me Tom Lehman.
Lehman was not in the top 10. He was 19th.
Not a man of God either.
Monty?
Goosen.
Sorry, we're not going.
Monty's up there.
Yeah.
Monty's 5th. Goosen's not there yet.
He hadn't done his thing yet. All right,
Yeah.
I'm not good at this. How about that? What? Who else are we missing?
You got it.
Probably no, Corey Pavin. Would he be up there? He won the
Corey
US
Pavin was 17th.
Okay.
Is there a pound for pound Data Golf rankings?
He would have been up there. He would have been top 3. So
Who do we
we've
miss?
got Norman, Price, Olazabal, Mark
Sure.
McCumber,
Dude, the Europeans are not
Whoa.
like that. We missed Olazabal.
Colin Montgomery, Fuzzy Zeller, Fred Couples, Nick Faldo, Tom Watson. And if I gave you guys 200
Tom
guesses,
Watson.
you wouldn't have gotten number 10. Bill Glasson.
Oh wow,
Data
Bill
golf
Glass.
Bill Glasson? Okay. Yeah.
God, that's good
Yeah.
stuff. Speaking of rankings, we probably should have thrown this in there, but the Aeon Swing 5, people who got into Genesis, I believe, are Sam Stevens, Daniel Berger, Michael Kim, JJ has respawned, and Andrew Novak. Our guy Justin Lauer, first man out. That's tough.
So Spieth didn't get in through that?
No, he was
Oh,
number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
That might
it
not be
would appear.
updated then. Is that updated?
I mean, Michael Kim's in there, so I think it is.
'Cause they showed it up on screen during the tournament. I guess when he was T2, that he was projected to get up in there. Maybe that's why he finished T4. But that's a harsh
Projected
fall
to
off
get
from
up
there.
in there.
Might need to be a
That
new
makes
schedule.
sense because he doesn't have any other. He's only had 2 starts. It would only be this points from this week. So apologies. I said that earlier. That I regret the error.
TC, anything else, or should we move on to the back nine? Start getting working our way towards this football game.
We can move on to the back nine. I would love to make the turn with you, Deej.
Guys, we got a massive opening hole here for the back nine.
Live golf's back, all right.
Of course, the 2025 season debut of Live Golf. Adrian Moronk and Legion 13 both go wire to wire under the lights. Let me start with an honest question. Did you guys, first of all, did you watch any of this
I did.
from Riyadh? And second, what did you think of the night golf?
It was kind of nice to wake up to. Like I watched it in the mornings a little bit. I thought the night golf was favorable for the Saudis just because it made the greens look less awful than they than they were. It was interesting. I'll give you that. It was interesting.
I thought the night golf was
I'll say
sick.
this.
Like,
I think
truly.
it is good for that. What TC said, like it was live, as far as I believe it was live here in the US, which like if it's to get it into a better TV window, I think it is worthwhile. Does it like add a ton to me watching golf? It doesn't, but like again, if it's it doesn't get into prime time, obviously, with it being in the Middle East, but it's better than it being on at 2:00 in the morning or whatever it would have been if they were not live. So for that, I would say
I think if you're not on a good golf course, that helps too.
cover up some warts.
Yeah, or lack of fans.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
There was like 6 people out there.
It was
It was so bleak,
so
man.
bleak,
I'm like
dude.
watching John Rahm, you could just hear like talking heads super
Oh.
faintly in the background, and it's just there's like 4 people out there watching watching John Rahm play competitive golf. It's just it's really bleak, man.
And was that the worst green? Were those worse greens than Quail Hollow the year that Derek
Yeah.
Ernst won? That was the worst greens I think I've ever seen in a professional tournament. Of course, there were people online that were claiming that everything was fine there. It was broccoli. It was doing the bounce back and forth like it was at Chambers Bay might have been the worst actually.
Billy Ho.
What do you
it was
do
just
you
like
think Hyde Park here in Jacksonville?
I
or
think
Re-
it would be close.
Riyadh Country
They were
Club?
fast, but they were legitimate like bags of sand with balls coming into the greens, and
Sand
the course
greens would
was
be sick.
a total disgrace from the very jump. I don't think you can have a super mega golf tour with only 14 events. You are afforded no duds like this one. Like that was that's how you kicked off your season, was that Riyadh Golf Club on that golf course with no fans out there. Like 12,000 people watched the opening round on FS2. Pack it up, guys. I know Adelaide's going to be a banger this week, and it always is, and it's massive for the people of Australia.
The water
Pack it up.
baby.
If that's what you got, pack it up, man. Like, can you picture a world where the PGA Tour would have started on a golf course like this? Had the Backstreet Boys out there singing about the tour being back and put up that stinker, and people like not treating this like for what it is. Like it's just we've tried. This is year 4 of this. It's fucking unbelievable, man.
I was a big fan of the Backstreet Boys video. Obviously, it was very, very fun to watch. But which I couldn't like find the origin of it. Like I just kind of saw it floating around on the Everything app, and I was like, honestly, I was like, is this like AI? Is this real? And it obviously was. But our guy Nick Carter out there wearing the Sunday red, I thought was also just like a sick touch.
So you knew it was live. You knew it was recent.
That's true.
It's not
yeah.
a replay from last year.
No, exactly. Soly, you mentioned this briefly, but there was reports out there that I almost was like hesitant to go with because the numbers are so shocking. Round 1 Nielsen ratings on FS2 were an average of 12,000 viewers watching round 1. I'm sure there was at least another 12,000 watching on the app. I don't know. Like, look, I know this is not apples to apples, but just to give a comparison of what we're talking about, feels like also worth mentioning that the final round at Pebble averaged 3.3 million viewers, which is significantly higher than 12,000. It's very, very strange times in the world of golf, and like you said, it's just kind of more than ever, it just feels like a humongous waste of all of these guys' time and talent and the primes of their career. It's just a huge bummer.
And you know what? Makes me the most upset about it is that like literally no one is actually treating this like a actual sports league. If they were, we would be talking about how horrible of a GM Phil Mickelson is. Like how much fun would that be to like fill up the airwaves talking about the horrendous management of the high flyers, them being in the cellar back again. Phil, this genius guy can't manage a golf team of 4 people. But of course, nobody actually talks like that. Not even the fans of the league talk about this like it's a real sport, like it's a real league.
There was a moment where I was like looking at these teams, and so there was some other news that changed this year, but all 4 scores will now count, so there's no more
They
dropping
do.
scores, which is
Yeah.
where I was like, well, are our hitters at Legion 13? Like, are they gonna lose a tournament all year? I was like, who fucking cares? Actually, before before I go down too far down that road. But I say
Oh,
that
well, you know what,
TC, and
DJ? I care.
you had a
Okay.
clique on the medal stand.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah,
Come
please
on.
take it away. Take it away.
Moronk went -17, held on. Looked like he was kind of going to choke it away. Your guy Dean Burmester
My
and
God.
Rom and Sebastian
Historically,
Munoz,
my guy.
David Pooge, all these guys breathing down his neck, and he pulled it off. I think the cliques are in trouble though with this all 4 scores count thing.
Yeah.
They finished 6th. They finished in the top half of the table this week, but Keimer is just not getting it done. Blandy, kind of a slow start for him. Couple guys added to the mix that I've never heard of before, which is pretty rare. I've heard of most most professional golfers in like the top, I don't know, 350 or so. But I was not familiar with this guy Chi Po Lee, who's
Didn't he
one of the
win
new
the,
wild cards.
I think he won the qualifying event, didn't he?
Yeah,
Which is sick because that
evidently.
like, again, so to your point of, like, this isn't like like, he just didn't go on a team. They're like, "Ah, fuck, technically, like, you got in," but I don't know. I
Just
just
straight up,
I guess you just be a
you're
wild
gonna
card.
you're gonna take you're gonna take Hud Swafford's spot as the
Yeah.
Joker, or the wild
It's
card.
kind of a, like, yeah, you can come to the birthday party, just like nobody really wants you there, but yeah, come on in. We got an extra spot here for you.
Which, yeah, and then the guy that the Fireballs added, this Luis Massaval, I'm not familiar with his game either.
Don't know a lot about him.
Oh, he's in,
T33 this week.
yeah,
Um,
which him and the Ketchup Man on the Cleeks tied. So anyway,
What would
that's
the reasoning
yeah.
be for going to 4 scores? Because like it makes it mathematically less likely that you're going to have close competitions on the team side, right?
Maybe they're reeling since they didn't get, like they had. I feel like with the Aces they had a dynasty. They're already declaring Legion 13 a dynasty, or like it has the makings of a dynasty. So maybe they don't want parity. They want dominance. They
mm.
want something. And McKibben had a good debut this week. So all sorts there. No more shorts this year, guys.
I was gonna ask you about that one, as well, TC. I don't
Seems like
again,
a step in the wrong
well,
direction.
I don't know. There was, like, no explanation or anything. It just kinda it's kinda how a lot of this stuff works, is it just seems like somebody makes a decision and it kinda just
Including the
slowly
tours
rolls out.
tweet this week too.
Right, yeah, we're gonna get to that.
How does a team with Dustin Johnson, Thomas Peters, Patrick Reed, and Harold Varner finish 11th in this league? Like the 4, like what happened to the 4 aces?
I don't know.
It's a great question, Soly. I truly don't know. I think they might only have one or two aces. I mean, Reed's playing awful right now. DJ +1, +2 on the weekend. Not good. Anyway, we are on to Adelaide. Adelaide should be a banger of a tournament. That's your live corner for the week, guys.
Well,
Live golf is back.
TC, before we move to our 11th hole on the back nine, why don't you tell us about our friends at Holderness Bourne?
Guys, I'm wearing it's the midst of winter. I'm actually going to Chicago tomorrow, and I'm stoked because I get to wear more of these Sullivans and Wards and all all the nice quilted sweaters and stuff.
TC's almost got
Um,
like, when all those people used to go to Pinehurst when they had like the wasting diseases, they're like they just need to
Consumption.
yeah, they got consumption. They need to get to the warm weather. TC's doing the opposite. He's like, God, I got too many allergies, man. I need to get to the cold weather. Please. I gotta get out of here.
dude, I had a cold this week, and then it turned into it's been like 80 here all week, and the allergies have been just absolutely brutal. But you know what that means, though? That means spring is upon us.
Mm.
And H&B, I've been wearing their performance polos. I actually got a little preview of them, of their spring collection. We took it down to Argentina with us and was wearing some of that stuff. They've got a new citron color that is absolutely fuego. It's kind of like an old school, the King kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, I think I saw one. Did you bring one of those to Pebble? It
I
looked
did.
awesome.
Yeah.
Y-
Yeah. And then they've got a new like Pima cotton pocket polo that's super old school and like really, really vintage looking. I'm digging that too. Of course, the Bell, the Westland, like all your favorite pullovers are still in the mix, and the pattern polos are just in fuego. So NLU 10 at hbgolf.com for 10% off. That's the only that still remains the only this and the trap draw are the only Holderness and Bourne discount codes out there.
How about that?
And yeah,
T-
I've had this
stock
vest
up.
for like
Yeah.
5 years, specifically to speak to like the quality of the material as well. Like it lasts you a long freaking time. So shout out to H&B.
Yeah, they got again spring drop in this week, and I would try out their aeration fabric as well. They've got the Turnbull, Springer, the Bradley, a few other designs in the aeration fabric, and that's kind of like quickly become my travel go-to. It's just so like breathable and light. It's delightful. So can't wait for it to get even hotter here, so I can wear all this stuff.
There you go. NLU 10. Holderness Bourne. Tell him Ballno or TC.
Quick
sent you.
breaking news across the wire before we get to the next hole. Confirmed from Michael Kim that our pod with Joe Mayo convinced him to take a lesson, and he helped him a bunch. Just spoke with him via text.
How about that?
Huge if true.
Unbelievable. Gosh, go listen to that Joe Mayo pod if you haven't listened to it yet. It's outstanding.
Let's see. Michael Kim just made $818,000 this week. So
There you go. Imagine how much you could make if you listen to if you just go listen to the podcast.
H&B spring collection drops Friday as well. Sorry, I just want to get that out there.
There we
This
go.
Friday.
Well, speaking of this week, TC, hole number 11, the Cat is returning to Torrey Pines, a place where he's had notable success, I would say. It's his first time teeing it up in a non-simulator golf league since the Open in July, where he missed the cut. Not his best performance there. But what do we think? Expectations? What is it? Just kind of a happy to see the Cat out there. He's looked pretty healthy. Looks like the body's moving pretty decently through the golf ball, at least on TGL. But Soly, you expected anything more?
I'm not. Despite this being a golf course with so many Tiger memories, it's weird to like look at it now and be like, "Ooh, that looks like a bad fit for Tiger," like the modern Tiger version that we'll see. I continue to sell, in terms of just he's going to have a constant battle for the rest of his career of rest versus rust, and I don't think he can possibly get enough tournament reps to be competitive in these events without needing a ton of rest in between. On top of the back injury and stuff going on, I would curb your enthusiasm for any specific results for the Cat. I think getting through 4 rounds, I'm not being facetious, would be a great accomplishment for him, honestly, of if he can get through all that rough.
It's not an easy walk either.
No,
right?
it's like legitimately not. So I think that'd be a successful week if he finished all 4 rounds and didn't finish at the very bottom. Honestly, I don't mean that in a hating way. Just like that's kind of what we're dealing with on the health front for Tiger.
But I think it's also kind of one of those things where, you get 2 rounds in, and if you're not feeling it, feel free to pack it up or whatever. And it's still having 2 rounds is better than
I'm saying
none
for an
of that.
endorsement of like, for your health, if you
Yeah.
can get through all 4, that's going to be, that can give some help down the, some hope down the road for this season.
They should let him play the North
That
this week.
is
That'd be great.
interesting.
Yeah.
Like I know he doesn't want to take a cart. All right, you're not taking a cart, but you get to play the North.
And just no one else is out. Just truly take your time, man. Take your time. Nobody behind you. All the fans could go, have that whole golf course to themselves. TC, that's a great idea. I love that.
I want to see the PGA Tour setup team, the rules guys. I want to see them cook a little bit this week.
Is there anything different? I mean, we can talk about this a little bit on our happy hour on Wednesday, but I don't know. I don't have a good sense. I mean, not to put you guys on the spot, but any ideas of what that means? What can they change other than kind of trying to make it a little firmer? But then again, Torrey's got all that kind of thick rough right around the greens too.
It was crazy firm. It's supposed to rain like crazy in California this week. Like atmospheric river kind of thing going on. So I don't know if that'll extend down to San Diego, but I would think they're going to bump some tee boxes up just to at least spread out divot patterns and such as well. But I don't know. We'll see. It's tough to get up for this one.
I feel like divot patterns are going to be pretty similar just with how much public play they get out there anyways, right? I mean, I don't know.
They probably got certain spots roped off.
Yeah.
For the public or whatnot.
It's not. It's just not a golf. Like one of the many flaws of Tory is it doesn't give you a lot of flexibility on what you can do. There's not like any width to really change any angles to anything. And I don't know. Can you make like 17 drivable or something like that?
Yeah.
Do something,
I
right?
know I understand the circumstances and why they ended up at Torrey Pines, but it's a bummer.
Yeah.
I'd rather see them go back at
Um,
TPC Scottsdale, but
yeah. And yeah, big week for Tiger, really as it is, and then kind of playing with a heavy heart, or not kind of playing with a heavy
Yeah.
heart, playing with a heavy heart. His mom Coltita passed away this past week, and kind of seemed like his rock through thick and thin. And I don't know, just a bummer. She seemed like a good, genuine lady.
Yeah, it's kind of a blind, like, not even kind
shocker.
of, definite blind spot for me. I feel like, Earl got so much run and was just obviously so willing to talk to reporters and kind of get his whole story out there that I think he was first and foremost whenever the Tiger Woods parents situation ever came up. And so I feel like she's just kind of someone people don't really know a lot about, at least myself in that camp. So looking forward to hopefully reading some tributes. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about her in his media availability this week. So hopefully we learn a bit more about her, and hopefully it's more of a sharing some good stories about her, and maybe he can kind of play through the heavy heart, like you said. But yeah, kind of wild to see her. I mean, she's been at the TGL
Yeah.
matches, and I'm not like you got a ton of look at her, but it seemed like she was healthy and kind of, yeah, that seemed like a total curveball. So wishing him all the best. But
Amen.
uh hole number 12 here. I'll just say the PGA Tour announces something with Donald Trump. There was a press release announcing, quote, an update on the future of men's professional golf. Not really many updates given beyond that, other than Jay Monahan and Adam Scott met with Donald Trump on February 4th to discuss just the situation in men's professional golf. That was kind of the extent of the release. So I guess I'll throw it to you guys. Like, TC, what does this mean?
I assume it means that the deal that's been on the DOJ's, kind of desk for the last, I think they've had a couple or different iterations of a deal. This means they'll probably wave that deal through from a regulatory perspective, and allow them to proceed with it, assuming that, like, I think one of the issues was that Yasser was going to be on the board of, both companies still, and that's flagrantly unacceptable as far as antitrust and competitiveness stuff goes, and a couple other things like that. But largely speaking, it feels like this is, we're probably going to see an investment from the Saudis to kind of balance out SS or Strategic Sports Group. And I don't know what the timeline is, but we'll see everything eventually, if not get folded together, we'll see some sort of symbiosis. You know what? Maybe Rick Shields will be out there making stuff and playing the Creator Classic. Who knows?
Breaking 75 at the 3M Open. Yeah, I kind of like you almost could kind of feel the tour being like that meme of the kid who's like holding his breath or trying not to say something, right? Where I just don't like, this was such a nothing release that there just had to be so much more like going on behind the scenes that they just couldn't quite possibly say. At least that's just my read without any real knowledge of it. It just, I don't know why you would put out such a nothing release unless they were clearly like felt like they were very close to something.
It honestly was like DT, almost like read as if it was DT was like, "Hey, can you just tweet a little something nice about me?" And then I can probably move this up a month if you do that. Is what it read like. I don't literally think that happened.
I was going to say just about stuff that, you know, people all over the world have been through and countries have been through. It was so overstated. And
Right.
I mean, it sounds like everything's coming back together, but weirdly, like, I just struggle to find myself getting excited for that, at least with the current leadership in place.
Do you trust that though, T? Like, do you
Okay.
like think it's actually coming back
I,
together? Like,
I,
live
yeah,
golf is literally like making videos that are saying like long live, like closing with like long live golf, as in like this thing is not going anywhere. We just have a new CEO. We have this schedule. We have years left on all these guys' contracts. We got blah blah blah. Like it, they're not talking like the PIF.
yeah.
It just seems like two different things here, and like I should be excited about this merger, but I just don't like hear much of anything behind the scenes that's like, yep, everyone's going to be playing together again very soon. Like I'm just nervous that this deal is going to be a big financial like win from a PR perspective and all that. We're unified and they're investing in us, but like LIV still is continuing in some form or fashion that keeps the game separated.
Yeah, again, I've heard substantively from a few different people that it seems to be coming back together. Like you said, I don't know what that means at this point. Does that just mean the 5 guys that we want to start playing PGA Tour events, start playing PGA Tour events again, which would be what? Rom, for me, it would be Cam Smith,
Bryson,
Bryson,
Brooks,
Brooks, and
DJ Hatton.
DJ.
I mean,
Yeah.
Hatton's got to be in there
Hatton.
too,
Blandy.
right?
Yeah.
Neiman.
Yeah, well, Blandy's gonna be blackballed because he didn't have status to begin with. But they should retroactively like give him at least he could play
Give a
champs.
lifetime membership.
Yeah. No, but seriously, it's like and they've purposely scheduled a lot of their events this year
That's
against
what I'm saying.
signature events. So there's not there's not a lot of opportunity for these guys to play. So I don't know. Like it's like when it would feel real would be like, oh man, these guys are turning them at the players to play in the players.
Which when you
You know?
say that, I'm like, holy shit, I get really excited for that.
Yeah.
And outside of that,
There's a LIV event opposite the players, though.
right, and that's where I'm like, well,
Yeah.
how the hell is that gonna work? And then
Exactly.
so that's where I'm like, Solly, to your point, what I'm not excited for is just kind of a half-assed
Yeah.
coming together of these things, and then LIV becomes like we still do it in the fall or whatever. Is just, I'm with you that it seems like something is going to happen. It seems like people are behind the scenes are very excited that something's going to happen, and I just remain unclear of what that something is. I guess.
Yeah, it's just tough to get excited for anything at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's been 5 years of this bullshit. And Jay Monahan strung us along at every turn, and like he's just not to be trusted. He's just truly like kind of ruined professional golf in a way, and my love of the PGA Tour in a way too. Like it's not just LIV, it's the PGA Tour too.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take some time to earn that back, I think.
God, it's going to be just a hell of a look back when we eventually, if it does come together or whatever, we need to do an episode of just all the things people forgot over the last 5 years would be some really fun twists and turns in there, I think.
I don't see Brandle's comments floating through on the agenda here. I don't know if we want to discuss those at all, but that stirred up quite a bit of controversy, I guess, on the socials this past week. I think he got done a little dirty by some aggregators as far as like if you listen to actually what he said, it, of course, got painted very quickly that Brandle has flipped his mind on LIV. He did. I don't have the full quote in front of me, but did give a long kind of answer to say he played a round of golf with Donald Trump. He talked about LIV the whole time, talked about blah, blah, blah. The thing that he admitted was like, he did change my mind on Yasser being like a good partner for the game of golf. He did not change his mind necessarily on LIV, but I don't know. I thought Brandle got done just a tad dirty on that, but also like when you talk about like ruining, like, oh, Yasser, this guy loves golf more than me and you. Like he was quoting Trump and saying like he loves golf, for as much as Trump plays, as much as Brandle is a sicko about it, he's like, Yasser loves golf more than the most of us. That I'm just kind of like, are we going to paint this guy is this guy going to end up getting painted as a hero? Like he loves golf so much that he fucking
compared to Jay Monahan.
Golf.
Compared to Jay Monahan, Yasser is a hero.
I'm not going to go down that path with you, TC, because this dude blew up men's professional golf so he could have his own little play thing here that is just that nobody is watching, that a bunch of people just got rich off of, and us, the golf fans, have had to pay the price on it. That like I don't know if I'm here for the Yasser like comeback tour, if you will, if this thing all comes back together. Like things were fine before you got here.
Part of it is he just wanted a seat at the table and they told him no. So then he went and did that stuff too. Like if they would have at least taken the conversation to begin with.
Mistakes certainly made, but it didn't have to go. He also didn't have to go down this route once that was the situation as well. So
try me though.
Yeah. I mean, God, it's just the most bizarre timeline we continue to live.
We need to get DT to hang out with Brandle some more and talk to him about rollback.
That'd be would listen to that podcast.
Be surprised if DT was pro rollback, but we can visit that on a future episode.
I don't know.
Cat
he seems like kind of
today too.
Kind of a ball striker. Yeah, the Cat played with DT as well. I think Trump was playing golf with Tiger this morning and then go to the Super Bowl in the evening. So there you go. All right, hole number 13 on the LPGA. I mentioned this earlier. 23-year-old Yelimi No wins by 4 over Jin Young Ko. Burst the door down in her first career victory with a bogey-free final round. TC, what do you got on Yelimi No?
Kind of a post-hype sleeper,
Yeah,
or
I think that's fair.
she popped prior, like she really played really good golf a few years ago, and then kind of went through the darkness, and she's been playing well now for at least the last 8 to 12 months, and just kind of popping up here and there. So yeah, she backed Nelly down in her own backyard, down there in Bradenton. This was the founders. This is the new founders presented by the US Virgin Islands. Perhaps Neil was down in the Virgin Islands trying to do some deals for
Some
us.
It's possible.
activations.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Jin Young Ko seems to be back on form too. That was one of my big takeaways from the week as well.
Yeah, second this week. I think T4 last week, so back-to-back top fives to start the season for her. You mentioned Nelly, shot even in the final round, couldn't kind of get it into gear and finished 9 back. I think the big news on the LPGA side was this slow play memo that got out there. It sounds like the new interim commissioner, Liz Moore, is hopefully instituting a new pace of play policy that looks like it's going to go into effect in late March, I believe. Before Molly left her post as LPGA commissioner, they had kind of instituted this pace of play task force, changing how they're doing their timings and changing how they're doing their penalties, basically to provide more emphasis on stroking people. TC, many more penalty strokes.
Yeah.
The big kind of pull quote was, under the previous policy, 22 athletes received a fine in 2024 and 9 received a 2-stroke penalty. That's like the mega egregious kind of breach of pace of play policy. If the new policy had been in place last year, 23 players would have received a 1-stroke penalty and 8 would have received a 2-stroke penalty. So any big takeaways from this?
No, I think it's more than welcome. I love seeing it. Hopefully they actually enforce it. It's all in the enforcement. I'm worried for Carlota Saganda. Uh,
Hundreds and hundreds of strokes.
yeah. I was floating this on X, the Everything app earlier, that I think that if you're on the list, whether it's a bottom 10 list for the season or a bottom 10 list in each tournament of like, hey, this is one of the 10 slowest players in this tournament based on the season, and obviously I think the LPGA has a little bit more of a challenge there because they don't have ShotLink every week and they don't have as much data on who's slow. But I think that whether it's the 5 slowest players, the 10 slowest players, DJ, like you had said, that all of them should be mic'd up,
Yeah.
against their will. Even I would say that
With an
every
attempt to
shot,
cancel, with a true attempt to cancel
yeah,
on top. Yeah, we are
It's a
trying to
Patriot Act,
cancel you.
man. If you don't
Yeah.
like it.
every single one of their shots should be timed and they should be treated like they're permanently out of position. So that if Tom Kim takes more than 40 or 45 seconds, like, cool, that's a 1-stroke penalty, dude.
Well, and
Like,
to,
you're cheating.
to your point, it's like, all right, if we don't have the manpower to time this and police it and whatever, like, it just seems like we could time some of them. Why don't we start?
You're in the red zone,
Why don't we
dog.
start? And like each week, there's a red zone, and it's like, yeah, we're going to be timing the red zone players this week.
Yeah, every shot.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
Liz Moore sounds like she's doing a good job there. She's kind of been speaking with clarity and conviction and force in some of the meetings that they've had and displaying some leadership. I think she's a attorney by trade, and hopefully she cleans up that JTBC lingering payment issue, and sends that over to collections and gets that sorted, because what a thing to have dumped in your lap
For real.
by the previous commissioner.
Yeah, lots of high praise for Liz Moore in the early weeks on the job here. I would recommend Beth Ann Nichols did a Q&A with her for Golf Week that I would suggest everyone go and check out if you're looking to learn more about her. But guys, a couple other quick holes. These are very short holes. A lot of birdies here coming in. We don't get to shout out the Hotel Planner Tour very often. Also formerly doing business as the Challenge Tour. Sebastian Gross, I'm not sure.
I think it's grow or
Grow,
gross.
Sebastian Grow, perhaps. Wild week. Open with an 80. Who among us? It happens. Came back the next day, shot a course record 60, 20 shot differential over there on the Hotel Planner Tour, and then comes back and goes 75, 75 on the weekend. So TC, this is
Crazy.
like I feel like in the Mackenzie Hughes 66, 66 without winning. I mean, if anybody
Up
ever
there.
goes 80, 60, 75, 75 and doesn't win, I feel like we need to call that the Sebastian Grow, because I just don't know if we're ever going to see that again.
Yeah, I think it would have been more impressive if he went 70-70 on the weekend, and then he shot 140 over 2 rounds, just 2 different ways.
That would have been impressive.
Shooting nothing between 74 and 61 is just that's really, really hard to do. What was the par of the course?
Good question. I don't know.
DJ's gonna get onto Expedia here.
Oh God, and now I can't even get to the tour.
It's fine.
just
It's not that
hotel
important.
While you're looking that
hotel
up, I do want to
planner.
shout out my guy Hao Tong Lee, who I've said is mini Dustin Johnson. First of all, I'm blown away that Hao Tong Lee hadn't gone to LIV
For
at
sure.
some point over the
Would have lost
last
the house.
3 years.
Would have lost the house on
I mean,
that.
this is the guy that showed up at the President's Cup, didn't bring his caddy to the President's Cup, just brought his trainer down to Royal Melbourne, and just wouldn't play the proper strategy either. So yeah, I think
Guys,
wow.
this was
Anyway,
it was par 72. It took me a while to
Okay.
get to the leaderboard for the Hotel
so
Planner.
12 under.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, Hao Tong Lee dominated in Cotter, and he beat another Rasmus Nearguard Peterson by 1, and Brandon, don't call me Dorian Robinson Thompson by 3.
Hey.
So Hao Tong, he's a stud, man.
If we're looking at majors going forward, would you take Rasmus Højgaard against all the other Rasmuses in the world? If I get all the other Rasmuses, would you take Rasmus Højgaard?
Yeah, I mean, I think this Rasmus Nearguard
I know.
Peterson guy is really good.
I think so too.
So, and you get all the Rasmuses I don't know about yet.
Exactly. all the Rasmuses to come.
Rasmuses.
You let me know.
I think I'm taking.
$20
I mean, how long?
$20 on
How
that one.
long is this for?
Till one of us
What's the
perishes,
span?
I think. Just it's the juice is always running, I think, on that one. I just don't think it's gonna come up that much. So I think we need a big long window on
Do you want me
this
to put this in the NLU record?
Yeah. TC has Rasmus Højgaard, and maybe you too, if you want to go double or nothing. You're talking such a fucking big game about
If Rasmus Højgaard and Erasmus to be named later.
Yeah. Versus me, I get all the other Rasmuses.
Okay, I'll put that in the record.
Okay. All right, moving on. Hole number 15. It's just letter writing season. I don't know why the fuck everybody's writing all these letters. Charlie Hoffman wrote a letter to the board. He just, I don't know, talked about a lot of different stuff. Pace of play. We need to get it moving. But then he also took some not subtle shots at Rory and all the TGL guys, basically saying you need to prioritize the PGA Tour if you really care about this product, and rather than off the course opportunities. I don't know. Is this thing? Is this kind of like the Charlie Hoffman Phoenix? This is why guys are going to LIV kind of letter that we got a couple years ago.
Did you see Rory's interview about it? Did you see Rory's TGL quotes after it? It was a wonderful takedown. Just like
for people that didn't. So
yeah, just like. Yeah, I mean, he was mad about the Aon Swing 5. He finished 6th in that. It felt a little pointed at me, but the TGL and DP World stuff. PGA Tour owns 20% of the TGL, so you're kind of just ripping on your own product there. And yeah, I'm going to continue to support the DP World Tour, which also the PGA Tour owns 40% of DP World Tour Productions. So yeah, not really sure. There's a lot of like personal grievances painted as grievances of the tour at large, but it was a lot more personal on it. So.
Yeah,
I think Charlie could have gotten off a shot or two at the app. That would have been good. I felt a little petty from Charlie, but I do think there's a big undercurrent of that from a lot of guys on tour towards Rory. I mean, Rory was talking, what was that, this week or I guess beginning of last week, just about less playing, like less tournaments, less opportunities, which I think we're all down with.
Yeah. I can see why maybe the players wouldn't be as into that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Soly, you tweeted out this week, and we had Derek Ernst. He made what, 12 starts?
11 starts in 2023 on past champ status. 11. Derek.
Yeah. Like, we got too many fucking tournaments. We got
23. He only played
Okay.
once last year.
Okay.
But it was in
like, there's no
2023.
way.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's like I'm fine with getting rid of some of these tournaments and getting a scarcity thing going a little bit, and then there's just too many playing opportunities, to be honest. So
Yeah. All right, what is this? Number 16, I believe. Soly,
Welcome to the
Lucas
club, Lucas.
Lucas Glover wants to ban Aimpoint.
hell
Let's
yeah,
Hates
go.
it. Too many. You're stomping all over the
he needs to
green.
write a letter.
Takes too
Yeah.
long. Would love to. And he seems like he's a true man of letters.
Yeah,
I feel like could actually craft something that would be, well written, well thought out. I would read any letter Lucas Glover wants to write. But this was just, I believe, from his radio show on Sirius XM. Just a little fun rant that kind of went. I would say lowercase v viral in the golf world.
I forget who it was. I
loved
brought
it.
it up on a show a long time ago. Just like, hey, will you guys join me in wanting to ban Aimpoint? And one of the two of you was just like, sure. I mean, whatever. I'll join. But like, that's at least 3 people we've got
Ollie,
on our.
I'll co-sign the bill with you.
Thank
bud.
you.
And
How do
it's
you-
pretty easy to enforce. You just can't step on
Don't
both
straddle
sides of
your
line at the
line.
same
Don't
time.
straddle
right?
your line. You should not. That should not be part of the game. And I'll say this: like, for as
How many
much as
just
I've been
hundreds of rules officials to get out there enforcing all this stuff, though.
but as much as I've been like kind of throwing my hands up at a lot of pace of play stuff, the PGA Tour and all of golf should do everything in their power to speed up the process of holing out. Like, that is where all of the log jams come from. Like, everybody, especially in threesomes, getting 3 guys to hole out is a massive problem. It's not
And rulings.
rollings is big too, but it's not like time spent on the fairway, like
Yeah.
on player caddy combos. Sure, those could speed up. It's not time spent on the tee boxes. It's like the toll booth is like getting it in the hole and getting 3 guys in the hole and off the green. So anything you can do to speed that up, like this would be the timers should be out on the greens, absolutely, and you should not be able to straddle your line. I'm way in on that.
Okay, very practical solution. What if there's just like no marking after the first putt? I feel like I've heard that idea thrown out quite a bit.
Would love. Yeah, but then you could
Stepping in
get
people's lines and
stymies and shit like that. How does
Yeah.
that work?
yeah.
I'm just so tired of the aim point people acting like it doesn't take more time.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm with
oh,
you.
it's been statistically proven, or we've done a large analysis. Get the fuck out of here, man. I mean, or 95% of the people out there have no idea how to aim point properly, and they're spending 4 times as much time on it. But either way, let's get rid of it. Get it out of here. It stinks.
God, I might start aim pointing just to see if I could really get under Soly's skin next time we play.
I would allow you to do it. Like, it's within the rules. Like,
I'd be stomping all over his line.
There's a guy in
I
our
don't think
Friday game
I
that
don't think I
does it.
stepped in your line.
It's fucking infuriating, and he starts doing it too. Like when you're chipping from off the green, and he's oblivious to where anybody else is. It's like I refuse to play, and he's already the slowest guy out there. Like I refuse to play with him. Like it's that bad.
Oh, I'm gonna.
TC
all right.
was on the tee sheet, but no, he's mysteriously not. He's not on it anymore.
No, I'm not hit the group text, guys. I'm not coming. All right, hole number 17. Sergio Garcia said, "quote There's talk of me becoming the Ryder Cup captain."
It's a great 17th hole, dude.
I think it was kind of there's a very risk reward here. You could because you could take either side of this. You look like a genius if you call this one right. If you got to say like I totally believe this, I think he will be the Ryder Cup captain. I mean that's the risk reward of hole number 17.
Well, he said it was intimated that I believe this was.
Where did these press releases come from? By the way, they just started showing up.
They just kept showing up in my inbox.
I know,
from
me too.
all Arabia, from like very early this week. It was flooding the zone, and I think it was intimated that this was for the 2027 Ryder Cup at Adair Manor, which of course Sergio's Irish roots go way back. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like
Should save him for
Many
free
people are
stuff, right?
he just
it was
doesn't
big.
seem like the heir apparent to Luke Donald.
It was big. Many people are saying vibes. Yeah, a lot of it. There's a lot of talk about this. Where exactly?
You guys want to get on the record right now? Sergio, absolutely not ever going to be Ryder Cup captain. 'Cause I don't know if I can. If things come back together, man. I just don't know.
I think he will be at some point. Is he a European Tour member again? Did he get his
pay his
DP World
fines?
Tour status back?
I have no idea.
Also,
I
didn't he
honestly
say-
I forgot
Didn't
he
he
like.
say, "I hope you all like die" or something like
I
that?
don't know if it was quite that hard. I think it was you're all fucked. Live's taking over. This tour's fucked. You guys, this tour sucks. all that stuff, I believe.
There was a rule. This is from the Telegraph. The DP World Tour passed a rule in 2018. Players cannot be a Ryder Cup captain or vice captain if they decline membership of the European Tour or fail to fulfill their minimum event obligation in any season.
Any season.
I
So
feel
they have
like
to reinstate him.
all the rules might just be null and void at this
That's
point.
very true. Like that's the bet is enough time passes that people forget about this live thing and the rules change. That would be the only way he gets to be a captain.
You know what? I hope he gets to be a captain at some point, just because they will invoke Sevi so many fucking times.
For
It's
sure.
be
gonna-
off.
Soly's head will blow up.
That'd be great.
I'm on the
I-
record saying no. Are you guys on the record saying yes? He's going to be a Ryder Cup captain. We can't laugh at him being the 2027 captain and also say that he's going to be a captain.
That's what I'm saying. I know. I'm going to say
They gonna run out of dudes to be captain,
right. I know. I will say. All right. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say there's a lot of people talking about him being the captain. I think those people are right.
I feel like if he's a captain, then Poulter has to be a captain. If Poulter's a captain, then he has to be a captain.
It's going to be a run of live guys. Graham McDowell's going to get in there. Like, does Stenson get it back again?
I think Stenson burned that one permanently.
I feel like, Poulter seems like he hasn't, I don't know that he quite like blew up the bridge behind him the way Sergio did. So that one I think people would probably be more okay with, but I don't know. All right, listen, the 18th hole, this it's a bad finisher. It's
we gotta get back to the clubhouse.
Exactly. It's kind of a bad routing. We're going straight back up the hill. I know it's not good.
The worst. Sun.
We're just looking at week 5 of TGL. Very juiceless. My beloved LAGC beat the shit out of an 0-2 Boston Common Golf Club.
Huge for my team. Huge to keep Boston Commons down in the cellar.
Changes the playoff complexion for Jupe Links. Just not a good week. This one kind of felt like the first one that's like, okay, actually I'm this was not I don't know if the other weeks were necessarily appointment viewing, but this one was quite missable unless anybody had anything different to say.
No, I think the biggest bummer for me is the tech seems to stink.
It's not good. Having the ball stopping on like the 70-degree slopes, and then the players hit from a flat lie is
even that, like the gameplay stuff with it. The ball doesn't go anywhere where it lands on any of the greens, and just that it feels dated on that regard. But just with regard to like the numbers not just straight up not being accurate
and not recognizing
the
shot
radar
shapes and
like the radar not being able to pick up spin properly, and they knew this going in. Like I've talked to a bunch of people who are like, oh yeah, like they were well aware that like this is not the right tech to be, or at least have layers of resiliency. And it's just we've been sponsored by Foresight, like full transparency. This has nothing to do with that. Like I think there's other solutions out there that would be better for this, and people are betting on this. And
which I don't know if I have a ton of sympathy for those people.
No, it's like
totally honest.
Coin,
but but at the end of the day, like it's still like a regulated market, right? Like there needs to be some semblance of seriousness with regard to the data.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I don't know, it's just not a good look.
Yeah.
And,
no, I fully co-sign all of that. Your boy Tommy hit just like a shot. He just hit it too well. It just didn't even register. Do you see? He had to hit it again.
The bad part is how much they were hyping the tech being like the reason to tune in. It just, I honestly can think back to like Tiger Woods 2012 was probably the last version that I ever played, and it had better like gameplay in terms of ball behavior on the ground on a video game from 12 years ago,
or at least more interesting.
Totally. Like it just is. This reminds me of like early 2000s Tiger Woods games in terms of how the ball behaves on the ground. It's like, which sounds like a minor thing, but it's totally not, because it just becomes very easy to flip off when there's just not that suspense with a lot of things. But
and they've got double headers coming up, and
Triple headers.
It's going to be interesting.
But
Monday, February 17th.
I mean, just locking people in the SoFi Center.
I'll say this too: we can all get caught up in a little bit of recency for all of it. I mean, the Jupe Links Boston Common match was legitimately fantastically entertaining,
Very fun,
and like not every college basketball game on a Tuesday night is wildly entertaining, right? Like there's got to be some slack for him of like, dude, it's not not everyone is going to be a banger, and there's just going to be some okay
No, I'm
ones.
totally
Totally
good
agree.
with it being a work in progress. I'm just disappointed on certain stuff that I thought wasn't going to be the concern,
Right.
Yeah.
right, or wasn't going to be.
Room for
Uh,
improvement for year 2, though. Honestly, like they'll
Yeah.
have a lot of time to
Yeah.
do some of this stuff. I don't know if they'll have time
It
to get
just
Tiger a new
concerns me that
simulator
I
sponsorship.
was going to say it just concerns me that that some of the stuff that feels like maybe they built this thing around or they can't necessarily change on the fly is kind of baked in at this point. So we've got Atlanta Drive versus LA. We've got and then right after
Yeah.
that, double header for them.
Yeah.
Atlanta Drive versus the Bay. And then at 7 p.m. we've got the Bay versus Boston. So it's
Both
just
doubling up.
both doubling up. So you got to wonder if LA and especially Boston gets a little bit of an advantage there.
It's good
So
for it's good for them to, for as long as those travels got to be from their
For sure.
a lot of those locations. So
guys, I did
when
want to
teams
shout out.
go from the West Coast to the East Coast, how
For
they
sure,
perform
man.
historically.
Exactly.
I did want to shout.
They're
Oh,
getting
and
a new
then
plane though. I'm pretty sure I read.
Second plate.
Like the Dodgers are getting another
Yeah.
plane.
speaking of Dodgers and LA, good bought into DJ's beloved LA golf club.
Yeah, that's great. Hopefully we can, that allows for some capital improvements and, and maybe a new development center down in the DR or something like that. Get a pitching lab going. What are those? I don't know where I'm going with that one. But sure. Sounds great. Welcome to the squad, guys. Happy to have you. I think that's about it, guys. I think it's probably Super Bowl time. TC, you want to get a prediction on the record here before that everybody can either, laugh at or commend you on?
Yeah, I've got a party going on out the door here, and my AirPods keep flipping over to the game, which I don't know what Freddie's doing out there. But listen, I'm going to stick with my Eagles. I am in this thing for the long haul. I think they're going to win. They're going to overcome the midness. I don't think he stinks. I just think he's mid of Jalen Hurts, and we're going to go from there.
I thought I wanted to claw. I couldn't take it when there was a serious Trevor or Jalen Hurts conversation on the ball knowers of like, Jalen Hurts about to win a Super Bowl, I think, here quite shortly after this. And
I think you put Trevor on that team, and he's
okay.
like much better than Jalen. He's a system guy. Jalen is.
We take
You got benched for Tua.
people forget. So
The
you got benched.
national
You got benched in the national championship.
Then what the fuck was Brock Purdy doing in college? He was Mr. Irrelevant. Why is that not held against him? If Jalen Hurts,
Brock Purdy was like a 4-year starter at Iowa State. He was absolutely flashing.
Yeah, totally different.
Different.
All right, we take this offline, guys. Enjoy the game. Enjoyed watching Phoenix this week. Lots of other fun stuff to talk about. Good being with you guys. Thank you to Titleist. Thank you to the Stack System. Thank you to our friends at Holderness Bourne. Thank you to TC. Thank you to Soly. Thank you to everybody who is listening. And we're going to be back with a happy hour this week.
On
Soly, is that right?
That is right. We'll have a 1999 Majors pod. It's going to drop on Tuesday as well, and then we will. It might be Wednesday actually that it drops, and then we'll have happy hour. And yeah, the content's going to start. The faucet's getting turned on here. There's going to be so many freaking podcasts over the next 4 months. So we appreciate you tuning in, especially day after the Super Bowl or whenever you're listening to this. So thanks everyone for tuning in.
And shout out to Suo for winning the Vic Open.
Oh, there you go.
Down in Australia. You want to talk about crazy splits? The wind was going nuts in like 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts and everything. So we can talk about Australian golf later because there was some other news on that front. We'll talk about that next week on the pod.
And Soly, best of luck at Gasparilla this week as well. Can't wait to hear.
I will need it.
We'll
need that luck.
One of our favorite annual videos. You look forward to tuning in. Follow the live scoring if you like, or wait for a no spoiler version of the video in a couple weeks. But best of luck, my man. And TC, I'll see you tomorrow, dog. Looking forward to it.
Well, I'm gonna eat some Chicago hot dogs up there, dude.
God, can't wait. All right, boys. We will catch everybody next week or later this week, I should say, in a couple days. Cheers.
Go Birds.
Rock on.